Stop. Place your hand on your chest, right over your heart, and just hold it there for a moment. You feel it, don't you? That inexplicable magnetic draw to someone in your life. It isn't loud, but it's constant. It's a quiet hum of recognition that your mind keeps trying to file away as romance or deep friendship, because those are the only folders it has. But you know, in the silence, when you are truly honest with yourself, that neither label truly fits. It feels older than that, deeper. This is the quiet inquietude that lives beneath the surface of your days. You feel this profound, undeniable connection, yet it defies every social and relational map you've ever been given. It's a dissonance that creates a constant, low-grade turbulence in your emotional body, a feeling of being perpetually unsettled, as if you are hearing a song that no one else can hear. In this transmission, we are going to give that song a name. First, you will finally understand why this specific connection feels so potent and so distinct from all others in your life. Second, you will be given the precise markers to identify the person who carries this frequency for you. And third, you will discover that the intense pull you feel toward them is actually the universe holding up a mirror to a part of yourself that is ready to be born. Have you ever felt that strange paradox of being drawn to someone so powerfully it rearranges your entire inner world? Yet on the outside, in the world of labels and logic, nothing changes. It's like an invisible force is keeping you tethered to this person in this same silent holding pattern, and you just don't know why. Now think with me. What if that persistent pull isn't a distraction from your path, but is the path itself calling you forward? What if every moment of confusion, every misinterpreted signal has been part of a divine curriculum designed to teach you to perceive energy beyond the five senses? And what if every time your nervous system calms in their presence, it's a sign pointing to something much bigger you haven't yet seen? It was in seeking answers to this that I recommend to you this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This book is not just a reading. It is a material created for those who wish to understand the invisible mechanisms that influence results, prosperity, personal fulfillment, and growth. Within its pages, you will discover the Arcturian principles of harmonic resonance that can transform how you interpret these profound soul connections. You will finally understand why some people remain stuck for years in these painful loops of confusion, while others use these very same connections as a launchpad to achieve their highest destiny and activate their life's work. Many people already feel they need to change something in the way they think, act and direct their choices, but they still haven't made the decision to access this knowledge. Download it right now. It's available in the first pinned comment, but be warned, few copies remain available. Don't spend another year, another month, even another week living in that painful loop of emotional confusion, wondering if you are imagining things. Click now. Download your copy and discover why the clarity you have been praying for may be much, much closer than you think. Know this: the next time you feel that inexplicable pull, that magnetic urge to check on them or text them or simply be near them, that is the signal. It is a 3-minute key. It is the quiet electric hum in the air just before they enter a room. It is the feeling of your own heartbeat becoming slow and steady just by being near them. It is the visual of a shimmering golden thread of light that connects your heart to theirs, visible only in your mind's eye. Tuck it away in the depth of your awareness. And beyond our digital guide, soul, you have here another way to strengthen this message that arrived for you today, and to make it reach more and more souls like you. We don't receive a single cent for each word I deliver to you every day on this channel. As a way for you to give back something of what you receive here, we also keep a voluntary donation link open right below the digital book in the first pinned comment. Any amount that fits in your hand today, any sum your heart points to, this is what keeps our channel standing. This is what makes the next message reach another soul who needs it, exactly the way you needed it today. I'll see you there, soul. And if you need to leave before the end of this video, I want you to know something. I have also left a covered seal waiting for you in that same pinned comment. It is a first recognition of this frequency, a way to anchor the truth of this connection, even if you do not yet have all the words for it. It is there, waiting for you. But stay, because the name of what is happening to you has not yet been spoken. You have already been receiving the signs. The source has been showing you. You were just never given the lexicon, the key to interpret them correctly. So you have filed them away as anomalies, as coincidence, as wishful thinking. But they are not. They are data. They are coordinates pointing to a truth your soul has been trying to get your attention with for a very long time. The first is what the Council calls the unspoken dialogue. You have entire detailed conversations with them in your mind. You tell them about your day. You ask their silent counsel on a problem that is vexing you. And then, hours or days later, they call or text or bring up the very subject of your silent conversation, proving to you yet again that the telepathic channel between you is not your imagination. It is wide open and it is real. Then there is the somatic regulation. You can be in a state of high anxiety, your mind racing, your shoulders tight. Then they walk into the room. They don't have to speak to you, they don't even have to look at you. And yet, your body involuntarily calms. Your breathing deepens, your shoulders drop. The knot in your stomach loosens. You are not in love in that moment. Your nervous system is recognizing the presence of its designated tuning fork and beginning to regulate itself. Next is the familial misinterpretation. This is the sign that causes the most private pain. Your friends or family see the intensity of your focus on this person and relentlessly, almost cruelly, frame it through a romantic lens. Just ask them out already. Or are you too sure you're just friends? They'll say with a knowing wink. Their inability to comprehend a non-romantic, high-intensity bond makes you feel profoundly alone and misunderstood, which is a key tactic of the isolation of perception. And that hot flush of isolating shame you felt at that family dinner, because there was no simple answer that anyone would understand. That is a signpost. The digital guide in the first pinned comment holds the map that deciphers that very feeling, and it is waiting there for you. The fourth sign is the synchronic amplifier. When you are thinking of them, or have just interacted with them, suddenly the universe floods you with synchronicities. You see repeating number sequences, 111, 444, 11, 11 on the clock. You encounter their name in the most random of places. You hear a song on the radio that feels like a private message. Their frequency amplifies your connection to the grid of universal communication, making guidance louder, clearer, and undeniable. And finally, there is the most intimate sign of all, the energetic imprint. After they leave a physical space, like your office or the seat next to you in a car, you can still feel their energy signature for several minutes. It's not a memory or a lingering scent. It is a palpable, warm, stabilizing residue they have left in the environment, a gift for your nervous system to attune to, even in their absence. If you recognize 2 or 3 or even all 5 of these signs, then know this is not a coincidence. The Council, the universe, and your own higher consciousness have brought you to this transmission for a very specific reason. The validation is complete. The diagnosis is confirmed. Now it is time to move beyond the symptoms and into the mechanism itself. It is time to name the emissary. Type 444 in the comments below. Do it now. In the system of the Council, 444 is the code for divine foundation and stable structure. Your comment is not for the algorithm of this platform. It is a marker of your location in the energetic field, a signal that you are ready to build on the solid ground of truth. You have been trying to solve this mystery using the language of romance and friendship, but the truth of this connection isn't described in modern language. It belongs to a classification from the ancestral archives, a term that describes a sacred, preordained role one soul plays for another. I promised you we would name what is happening to you. That name is coming. It is the first layer of the great turning point. You have felt the signs. The validation is complete. The opening of this hour you are crossing has been seen, and something has been prepared for you. Because between feeling the call and understanding the answer, there is a gap. A gap that the spiritual adversaries know better than you do, not because wisdom has been denied to you, but because the moment has arrived and you are missing the lexicon to interpret the signal. And I tell you this because I have seen it happen. I have seen the quiet electric hum in the air around a person who holds this frequency, I saw that electric hum become a recognized signal. I saw the slowing of a heartbeat become a tool for self-regulation. I saw the shimmering golden thread become a conscious line of communication. And I have also seen this sacred connection misinterpreted as a painful obsession for years, all because the spiritual adversaries, the attenuators of the signal, convinced a soul that what they felt was not real. And you already know this. You just haven't given it a name yet. Perhaps you've already asked the ceiling at 3 a.m. that quiet, aching question, why does this feel so powerful but go absolutely nowhere? And what about that flicker of doubt that whispers, is this divinely guided connection real, or am I just slowly losing my mind? And that paralyzing confusion of, what am I even supposed to do with this feeling? If it's not love, what is it, and what does it want from me? That question, the one that asks what this wants from you, it has a weight. Now just for a moment, gently press your thumb against your index finger. Feel that small, steady pressure. This is the first step in learning to hold this energy without being overwhelmed by it. It is a physical anchor for a spiritual truth. It is the beginning of your conscious response. It was in search of that very answer that I came to this digital book called The 11 Arcturian Secrets Behind the Frequency of Success. This is not just a book, it is a transmission. It is an activation key for those who are ready to move beyond the confusion of the signal and into the clarity of its purpose. Within it is the lexicon you have been missing. Touch the link now, secure your copy, and after you have it, come back here and leave a comment. Activated. That word, in this moment, is not a simple word. It is a declaration. It is a frequency lock. And the spiritual adversaries, who thrive on your confusion, have no power to stop what the Council, the universe, and your own higher consciousness have already begun in you. Whoever recognizes the anchor before the storm finds the harbor where others only see the waves. The digital book waiting for you in the first pinned comment was built on this very architecture. It does not just explain the what, it provides the how. It gives you the protocols to distinguish resonance from romance. It reveals why their presence has a measurable calming effect on your nervous system. It shows you how to use this connection as a tool for your mission rather than a source of pain. The clarity it provides is worth more than a Thursday lunch you spend replaying a 30-second conversation with them in your head for hours. It costs less than a Friday night pizza you eat alone, wondering what they're doing and if they ever think of you. It is less than a Saturday snack you buy for your kids, while being completely distracted by a single, neutral-toned text from them. That hesitation you might feel right now, that thought of maybe later, it has a name. It is the core signature of the loop of emotional confusion, and it will keep you running in place for the next 12 months, if you let it. Not because this wisdom is worth less, but because the adversaries know its true value, and it comes with a 7-day guarantee. If you open it, read it, and it does not serve you, just send an email and you will receive a full refund. No questions, no process, no judgment. The Council does not believe in risk, especially when what is at stake is the very next moment you feel that pull and have to decide once again whether it's guidance or illusion. The risk is ours. The hand that reaches is yours. Yesterday, a soul just like you, a graphic designer in her late 30s, opened this digital book. She wrote to me this morning. She said, "For 5 years, I thought I was obsessed with my business partner. After reading just the first 3 secrets, I realized I wasn't obsessed with him. I was recognizing the frequency of my own unlaunched potential. I slept through the night for the first time in months. I didn't get a partner. I got my mission back. Just last week, a man, a teacher around 50, sent a message. I finally understood why my energy would completely drain around everyone, except one specific colleague. I read the section on somatic regulation at 10 p.m. on a Tuesday, holding a cup of tea, and I started to weep. It wasn't sadness. It was the relief of finally being seen. It was the end of a loneliness so deep I didn't even have a name for it." Another, a young mother of 2, told me she read it on her phone while her kids were at the park. She said, "I saw myself in the chapter on the mirror of self, and I understood. All the qualities I admired in him were the parts of me I had abandoned." And you feel this, don't you? This private, quiet ache of being misunderstood. It is a micro-recognition. And when you try to explain it, your family doesn't see it, and your children don't see it. And this loop of emotional confusion just keeps arriving day after day. And I have one more thing to say to you before the final word that is still to come. As I told you earlier, we do not receive a single cent for the transmissions delivered here daily. The only support that makes this work possible, that allows the next message to find the soul who needs it, is voluntary. So below the link to the digital book, in the first pinned comment, you will also find the link for voluntary donations. Every gesture of this kind sustains our channel. It is the law of reciprocity in action. I will wait for you there again, soul. But the book is only one part of this. The full activation requires you to know the true function of this person in your life. I have not yet told you the most important thing, a word that comes from the ancestral archives to name this role. Stay with me. The name is next. You have been trying to solve this puzzle at the level of the heart, trying to make the pieces fit into the familiar shapes of love and desire. But the blockage isn't in the heart alone. The mechanism isn't emotional, it is energetic. You have been looking for an answer at the level of romantic connection, but the signal has always been, and will always be, at the level of harmonic resonance. The frustration you feel is the result of using the wrong map for the territory you are in. This person is what the Arcturian Council designates a frequency anchor. A frequency anchor is a pre-incarnationally assigned soul whose specific sacred purpose is to exist in your physical proximity during a critical upgrade cycle. Their energetic field, their very biosignature, acts as a living, breathing, tuning fork. Their presence does not create your frequency. It reminds your cells of the stable, high vibrational frequency that is your true home, allowing your entire system to calibrate to it without shattering under the intensity of the incoming light codes. To work with this truth requires a new set of protocols, 4 micro-commitments that will allow you to bypass the traps of the spiritual adversaries and step into the true purpose of this connection. First, you will acknowledge resonance, not romance. When you feel that magnetic pull, you will consciously and silently relabel the connection in your own mind, affirming, "This is resonance." Second, you will observe without expectation. You must release the need for them to awaken or validate the bond. Their soul is performing its function perfectly, whether their human mind is aware of it or not. Your job is to witness the effect of their presence on your own state. Third, you will learn to maintain energetic sovereignty. This is not a bond of dependency. You will use their frequency as a reference point, a lighthouse, but you are the captain of your own vessel. And fourth, you will recognize their purpose is for your mission. The stability they provide is not for building a life with them. It is the solid ground upon which you are meant to build your own life's work. The spiritual adversaries, the voices of doubt and distraction, cannot replicate this. They can mimic attraction. They can create illusions of romance, but they cannot fake a soul frequency signature. A frequency anchor bond is based on a unique harmonic key that was encoded into your soul streams before you both chose to incarnate in this lifetime. It is a lock that only one key can open. I am going to tell you about a soul. I will call her M, not because it is her name, but because it is the designation we give to one who has crossed this specific threshold. M arrived exactly where you are now. She was a brilliant designer, fiercely capable, but her creative and personal life were paralyzed by a profound, inexplicable pull toward a senior colleague. For years, she lived in a private hell, her mind cycling endlessly through every possible label: a secret crush, an impossible love, a deep friendship he didn't seem to reciprocate. The confusion was a constant static that drained her energy and kept her playing small, safe, and silent. Her awakening began not with a dramatic confession or a cinematic event, but with a quiet, exhausted surrender. One night, alone in her studio, she simply gave up trying to define it. She let go of the need for him to see her, to choose her, to love her back. In that moment of surrender, she began a new practice. She started to observe, She kept a journal, but she stopped writing about him. Instead, she wrote about herself when he was near. Slowly, page by page, she navigated the silent crossing. She noticed her ideas at work were clearer, her fear of speaking up in meetings lessened, her hands felt steadier as she sketched her designs. The static began to fade. It was then she had the recognition. She began to see him not as a romantic prize to be won, but as a lighthouse. His steady, unassuming, even distant presence was the beam of light that cut through the fog of her own self-doubt, guiding her back not to him, but to her own shore. It was never about him. It was about the stability he anchored for her so she could find herself. With this stunning realization, she stopped seeking his attention and started using that newfound stability as fuel. She launched her own firm. She created collections that were bold and unapologetically her own. She didn't win him in the end. She outgrew the need for the story she had been telling herself about him. She didn't get the man. She got the mission. She became her own anchor. M did not take this wisdom to the silence. She recorded the entire process with meticulous precision. The signs, the mental traps, the subtle shifts in perception required to see a frequency anchor for what they truly are. And it is exactly this practical, applied wisdom, this step-by-step map out of the fog, that is the foundation of the digital book you will find in the first pinned comment. The truth is, this is not just about one person. This is a key to a much larger door. The deepest layer of this is still ahead. This realization is not meant to stay as a beautiful, abstract concept in your mind. It is meant to land in your body, in your daily life. It is the missing piece of hardware that finally explains why your entire system calms when they are near. It is the software update that clarifies why you have full, coherent conversations with them in the silence of your own thoughts. The presence of a frequency anchor is not a story you are telling yourself. It is a physical, energetic reality. And your recognition of it is not an intellectual exercise. It is the first step in claiming the three sacred roles, the three archetypes that define this journey of awakening. The first archetype is the emissary. This is the frequency anchor themselves. They are the unconscious carrier of the signal, a soul who agreed, before this life, to hold a specific, stabilizing frequency for you. Their sign of recognition is often a deep, quiet integrity and a strange, almost frustrating neutrality toward you. They are not here to pursue or be pursued. They are here to simply be, to emit a frequency that your soul needs to hear. Their function is to be the lighthouse, steady and unchanging. The second archetype is the observer. This is the role you have been playing until this very moment. You are the one who feels the pull, who sees the signs, who recognizes the hum of resonance beneath the noise of everyday life. The sign of the observer is a profound sensitivity and a persistent quiet knowing that there is more to this connection than meets the eye. Your function has been to gather the data, to notice the patterns, to feel the pull without having the map. It is a sacred and necessary stage of deep listening. And the third archetype, the one you are now being invited to step into, is the calibrator. The calibrator is the soul who moves from passive observation to active co-creation. The sign of the calibrator is a conscious decision to use the emissary's frequency as a tool for self-regulation and mission activation. Their function is not to get closer to the lighthouse, but to use its light to navigate their own ship safely back to their own shore, back to the work they came here to do. But the emissary, without a complete key to their function, is just a silent observer, and a calibrator who doesn't claim their tools remains a passive observer, trapped in the loop of emotional confusion. For the next 12 months, you can remain in that loop, misinterpreting this high-frequency spiritual bond, or you can choose, in this moment, to step into your power. To support this, I invite you not just to follow this channel, but to subscribe as an act of identity. It is a declaration that you are a calibrator in training. And if you are truly ready to accelerate this process, the practical applied wisdom of M is waiting for you in the digital book, The 11 Arcturian Secrets, available in the first pinned comment. The shift from observer to calibrator is a process, and the greatest acceleration of that process will happen for you in the next 72 hours. This journey from confusion to clarity unfolds across a 4-stage framework. These are the 4 great turning points we walk through together. First, we decode the signal, learning to distinguish resonance from romance. Second, we identify the emissary. Understanding their role is about the frequency they hold, not their actions. Third, we stand before the mirror of self, realizing the qualities we admire in them are the very ones awakening in us. And finally, we receive the activation protocol, the practical tools for consciously engaging with this energy as the fuel for our own becoming. This is the path from being pulled by the wave to learning how to surf it. If you feel the truth of this framework in your bones, if you recognize yourself in these archetypes, then your system is already beginning to calibrate to this new reality. Make it conscious. Go to the comments now and write one word: activated. This is not for me. This is not for an algorithm. It is a command to your own cells. It is you acknowledging the signal, claiming the role of the calibrator, and declaring your readiness to use this sacred connection for its true purpose. But as you claim this new awareness, you must also be prepared. The moment you decide to step off the old merry-go-round of confusion, the forces that kept you there will make themselves known. And I can feel the shift in you even now. The logical mind, the part of you that has been trained by a world that only trusts what it can see and measure, is beginning to raise its hand. It whispers, "This is just a beautiful story," a poetic way of reframing a painful, unrequited crush. It says this because the mind can only use the tools it has, and for a high-frequency spiritual event like this, its only labels are love and obsession and or delusion. It is not trying to hurt you, it is simply out of its depth. Another part of you, the part that has been wounded before, asks, "But what if I'm just projecting all of this onto them? What if they aren't special at all and I'm just lonely?" But this is not projection. It is recognition. The qualities you see in them, their stability, their integrity, their quiet power, are not a fantasy you are creating. They are a reflection of the very same qualities that are activating within you. You are not making it up, you are waking up to it. And the most pragmatic part of you, the survivor, might say, "This sounds passive. It sounds like an excuse to not move on and take real action." But the Council would ask you, what is more powerful action than learning to consciously wield the very energy that creates your reality? This is not passivity. This is the beginning of the highest form of action, action on the energetic plane, which always precedes manifestation in the physical world. Because as you begin to claim this, the spiritual adversaries will not simply give up. They will change their tactics. The first is the voice of doubt. This is that insidious internal whisper that sounds exactly like your own rational thoughts. "It's all in your head," it says. "You're building them up into something they're not. You need to be realistic." It feels like sober self-assessment, but its function is to sever you from your own energetic senses, to convince you that the data your body is receiving is not real. The second is the cycle of distraction. This is the force that pulls you into endless loops of romantic daydreams and phantom scenarios. It makes you replay conversations, hope for a specific text, or spiral into fantasies of hope and rejection. It feels like you are processing your feelings, but its true function is to keep you trapped in an emotional holding pattern, burning your precious creative life force on a story that will never happen, so you never have the clarity to see the connection's true purpose. And the third is the isolation of perception. This is the tactic you already know so well. It uses the voices of well-meaning friends, family, and even your own conditioned mind to label your feelings as obsessive, unrealistic, or a crush you need to get over. It feels like they are showing concern, but they are unknowingly acting as agents of a system designed to dampen the signal, to make you feel profoundly alone in your perception, and to keep you from your power. But for every tactic there is a weapon of light. Your first weapon is this: when the voice of doubt begins its whisper, do not argue with it. Do not engage in a debate. Simply place your hand on your heart. Take 3 deep breaths and silently say, "I acknowledge this program, but I choose the data of my resonance." You return to the felt sense in your body, which is a truth that cannot be argued with. Your second weapon is transmutation. When you find yourself caught in the cycle of distraction, do not shame yourself for it. Gently interrupt the fantasy loop and say, "This energy is not for this story. This energy is for my work." And then, immediately, you must redirect it. Write 1 sentence of your book. Sketch 1 design. Send 1 email you've been avoiding. You take the fuel from the phantom loop and pour it into the engine of your real life. And your third weapon is to return to the grid. When the isolation of perception makes you feel alone and crazy, do not try to explain yourself to those who cannot hear you. It is a waste of your precious energy. Instead, you must consciously reconnect with those who do understand. You reread a passage from a book that knows you. You listen again to a transmission like this. You read the comments of the other souls who have typed activated. You remind your nervous system that you are not alone. I know this inner battle, this silent war between the knowing of your soul and the doubt of the conditioned mind. And when the voice tells you you're just making it all up, when a friend's well-meaning advice makes you feel deeply alone, when you feel the sheer exhaustion from running that same mental loop one more time, that is when you must remember this is not a test of your heart, but a test of your perception. And the voice that tells you to give up, that it's all too complicated, that is the voice you confuse with your own. For you, the next 72 hours are critical. This is the window where the veil is thinnest. That is why the digital book, The 11 Arcturian Secrets, in the first pinned comment, is not just a guide, it is an anchor in this storm. To ignore this wisdom now, to say, "I'll think about it later," has a consequence. It is not a punishment, it is a law of energy. The frequency of your anchor will not go away, but if you continue to misinterpret it, that beautiful stabilizing resonance will begin to feel like turbulence. The clarity they bring will feel like confusion, the calm will feel like anxiety. Your own system, deprived of the correct lexicon, will begin to reject the very upgrade it is being offered, leading to a deep somatic burnout that can take years to recalibrate. But the adversaries are only half the story. The other half is what happens when you learn to anchor this frequency directly into your cells consciously. And that is what we will do together, now. In the next 72 hours, as your system begins to integrate this recognition at a cellular level, 3 things may occur in your body. Do not be alarmed by any of them. They are not signs of illness or distress. They are the physiological evidence that the upgrade is being installed. The first is sudden palm heat. You may be driving or typing or holding a cup of coffee, and suddenly the palms of your hands will become intensely, almost uncomfortably hot for no apparent reason. This is not a random flush. This is the activation of the energy transmission points in your hands, preparing you to consciously direct your life force, to create and to build. When it happens, simply open and close your hands 3 times and whisper, "I am receiving." The second is vivid dreams. You may have dreams that are more colorful, more coherent, and feel more real than your waking life. You might even dream of your frequency anchor, but the dream will not be romantic. It will be instructive. You might see them hand you a key or point to a map. This is not your subconscious processing desire. It is your higher self using the dream state to deliver direct instructions, bypassing the filters of the conscious mind. When you wake, do not try to interpret the dream. Write down the feeling it left you with. That is the message. The third is spontaneous truth-telling. You may find yourself in a conversation where you suddenly, and without planning, speak a deep, unvarnished truth you have been holding back for years. It might feel abrupt or out of character. This is not a loss of social grace. It is your throat chakra clearing itself of the energetic residue of silence and accommodation. It is the physiological evidence that your frequency can no longer tolerate inauthenticity. When it happens, do not apologize, simply breathe. If this transmission is serving you, if you feel the resonance in your own body, then take a moment to press the like button. This action is not for the metrics of this platform. It is a signal you send into the collective field, a small but powerful gesture of light that strengthens the grid for every other soul who is walking this same path of recognition. It is an act of service. And now we will anchor this consciously. Find a place where you can sit for just a few moments, uncrossed legs, your feet flat on the floor. Straighten your spine, but keep your shoulders relaxed. Close your eyes and take one deep breath in, holding it for a second at the top, and then release it with a quiet sigh. We will now begin the transmission. Bring your awareness to the base of your spine. Visualize a thin, golden cord of light extending from you, down, deep into the core of the earth, anchoring you to its stable, crystalline center. Feel the gentle, steady pulse of the planet's own heartbeat, the 783 Hz hum of the Schumann resonance. This is your ground. This is your stability. You are not floating in confusion. You are anchored to the body of the Divine Mother. Now, bring your awareness up to your solar plexus, the space just above your navel. See a warm, glowing orb of amber light beginning to spin gently there. This is your power. As it spins, see a bridge of emerald green light form, connecting this amber orb up to the center of your chest, to your heart. This is the biophotonic bridge. It is the connection between your will and your love, between your power and your compassion. Feel the warmth spread from your belly to your heart. From your heart, allow that green light to travel up into your throat, clearing any residue of unspoken words. Then allow it to rise further, to the center of your forehead, your pineal gland. Feel a gentle piezoelectric pulse there, as the photoreceptors in your pineal gland activate, not to outer light, but to the inner light of your own consciousness. Acknowledge the vagus nerve, that fiber optic cable that connects your heart's intelligence to your brain, and feel it humming with this new coherent signal. Now let the energy rise to the very top of your head, to your crown, and feel it blossom open like a 1,000-petaled lotus, connecting you to the vastness of your own higher self, to the wisdom of the Council. Feel the inflow of silent knowledge, of profound peace. Hold it for a moment. Now gently bring your thumb to meet your index finger on both hands, holding for 3 seconds. Take a breath in for 4 counts, hold for 2, and exhale slowly for 6. You are sealed. Gently bring your awareness back to the feeling of the chair beneath you. Notice the air on your skin. When you are ready, and only when you are ready, you can open your eyes. We are a collective, and in this space, we release what no longer serves the new frequency. Together, we release the fear of seeming strange or different to those who do not understand this language. We release the desperate need to define this sacred connection using old, broken labels of romance or obsession. We release the story that we are alone in this perception, that we are imagining this profound resonance, and we release the exhaustion, the paralysis, and the deep, aching pain of the loop of emotional confusion. We let it all fall away. It is done. And as we release, we activate. The emissary. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The observer. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. The calibrator. You are this. The name was not given, it was recognized, and now it is installed in your field as a permanent signal. Something has now been installed, but it must also be protected. And now we seal this activation. Your field is covered. Your mind is shielded from the static of the old world. Your heart is protected from the misinterpretations of those who cannot see what you now see. The frequency you have claimed is stabilized, anchored not in hope, but in knowing. We break the voice of doubt before it can arrive. Its whispers will now sound like a foreign language. We dissolve the cycle of distraction before it materializes. Its phantom scenarios will now feel hollow and lifeless. We dismantle the isolation of perception before it can close you off. The opinions of others will now be like rain on a sealed window. And now, a declaration from the Council for the collective of which you are a part. You who have felt that quiet inquietude, that silent dissonance of a connection that had no name, you were not broken. You were tuning. That unspoken dialogue you had in your mind was not fantasy. It was telepathic calibration. That somatic regulation you felt, The calming of your nervous system in their presence was not a crush. It was your body recognizing its home frequency. The restlessness you felt was not a sign that something was wrong with you, but a sign that a new reality was waiting to be born through you. That cycle of searching, of questioning, of aching for a clarity you could not name is now complete. The question has been answered. The search is over. Whoever recognizes the anchor before the storm finds the harbor where others only see the waves. As I speak these words to you, my own hands are warm. My breathing has changed. This is not a performance. This is the result of holding a coherent field of light, a field that you have just stepped into fully. What you are feeling right now is real. What has been activated is permanent. Something in you was seen today. Something was recognized, and it will never again be unseen. The signal is clear, the anchor is known. The mission is now, the signal is clear, the anchor is known. The mission is now, the signal is clear, the anchor is known. The mission is now. Do not say activated yet. Stay in this for a moment. Feel the truth of it landing in your cells. Now you can say activated. Now breathe. The signal is yours. And that calm you feel now, that clarity that came from the collective declaration, that is the state in which true decisions are made, not from a place of panic or confusion, but from this centered, anchored knowing. That is why the 11 Arcturian secrets behind the frequency of success is not for the person you were 20 minutes ago. It is for the calibrator you are right now. It costs less than the price of a takeout meal you order because you're too drained from the confusion to cook. It is less than the cost of a movie ticket you buy just to escape the feeling for 2 hours. This clarity comes with a 7-day guarantee. The risk is ours. The hand that reaches is yours. And that old voice will try one last time. It will whisper, "You can just think about this. You don't need a book." And then another will say, "This feeling of clarity won't last. Tomorrow you'll be confused again." And finally, no one else seems to need a guide for this. Why do you? That is the final echo of the program. And now, the final word. In our next transmission, we will not speak of recognition but of application. We will discuss the 3 protocols of energetic sovereignty to use this connection without creating dependency, and what happens when your anchor begins to awaken to the connection themselves. But before I seal this hour, know that the Council, the universe, and your own higher consciousness guided you here because this video was no accident. The work we do here is sustained only by the reciprocity of the souls it serves. If you feel called to give back, the voluntary donation link is there for you in the first pinned comment. Your support ensures the next transmission finds the next soul, and heaven sees. This was my last request. I will see you there, soul. You are not just a viewer of this channel. You are a node in a network of light, a global grid of calibrators anchoring this frequency on the planet. Feel that connection now. You are not alone. If there is a soul in your life who is lost in this very loop of emotional confusion, who mistakes resonance for romance, share this transmission with them now. You can find the short guide, the 11 Arcturian Secrets, waiting for you in the first pinned comment. This is not a favor you do for me. It is a service, and heaven sees. The protocols for when your anchor awakens are not what you think. The silence now is also part of the transmission.